Hey everybody, welcome back to PC Hype for part 2 of the Spring 2016 update to my water-cooled build. And as you see here, this is what the build looks like currently. So definitely going to need some changes. I'm pretty unhappy with, if you remember, I had my setup meant to look like the interior or the bowels of the Death Star. And I don't like some of the decisions I made with tubing. If you look at that, the tubing is loose. It's sort of, it's not very good. I have that tube that's jammed between the pump res combo and the video card, even though there's tons of space on the other side of the reservoir between that and the radiator. There's just, I just didn't do as good a job as I'd liked, and I'd like to clean that up and get a more consistent look. Here's some of the things you need to drain a loop and make some changes to it. First thing, a glass bowl. How exciting. But I have to catch the water, or the coolant. I basically use distilled water with a few drops of biocide in it, and that works just fine. You don't need to pay for all that stuff they sell, although there's nothing wrong with it. See, I cleaned up my desk. All my stuff is scattered around. Looking at the table there, what else do I have? See the new PC Hype logo I worked on for a watermark. Very snazzy. I have a can of compressed air. Just need to blow some dust out, and I'm going to be moving a radiator, so I might as well blow the dust out of it. I have a pair of scissors, and this is a tube cutter. Very simple. I picked it up at Home Depot. It slashes through soft tubing, no problem, and it makes really nice clean cuts, which is the most important thing. Clean, even cuts. It makes it easier to get it on your fittings, and everything just looks nicer. And one of the things I need to do is use this magnetic tape to reaffix my LED lights. The sticky stuff they came with just doesn't work very well, and I think this Scotch magnetic tape will be better, and the case is steel, so magnets should hold the LED lights on there no problem. So yeah, I really don't like how unbalanced this is, and I'm going to try to remedy that. I think I'm at the limit of what can be done with soft tubing, I have to say. Yeah, promo for Diet Mountain Dew Code Red. That is good stuff, I have to say. Good stuff. So yeah, I think my big plans for an update later in this year definitely involve getting a Case Labs case, a new GPU, and I'm going to do hard tubing. I've reached the limits of what you can do with soft tubing. It just never looks as good as hard tubing does. So now let's take a closer look at the build. You see there the LED light that's hanging off, and that is the correction I have to make. Let's get the Stormtrooper out. He needs to leave his home for a little while. And you see in there my cheap Corsair power supply. It's okay. I want to upgrade to a better one. It works, so I don't know why. But see, I want to get that LED light affixed. It just won't stay. So I'm going to have to work on that. When you have the door on the case, you actually can't see it, so it works fine. But, I'd like to get it as good as possible. And plus, by adding the magnetic stuff, I can move the LED lights anywhere else into another case or what have you. Although not a Case Labs case, because those are aluminum. But my plan is to buy some nicer LEDs, like some dark side LEDs, when I make that upgrade. So I won't be using this strip anyway. So anyway, yeah, you can see I have some work to do. So I'm going to have to get right on this thing, and let's get cutting. Start getting the coolant out of this so we can make the changes I have in mind. Okay, here we go. It's time to do some work. So first things first, oh yes, first things first, I have here a nickel. Um, it's just a simple thing to have around actually to unscrew the top off the reservoir. And the reason you have to do that, when you're draining a system, you have to let air in. It's a sealed system normally, and if there's no air, then the liquid won't want to come out. It's sort of like how you have to put 2 holes in the top of a can to get it to pour out smoothly. That kind of thing. So you have to just cleaning off some dust. The computer system will get pretty dusty after being used for a few months. So let's get these power cables out of the video card. Just get them out of the way. One of the things I'm trying to do with this change I'm making is to not open up the back and take everything out and rewire things. I want to change the loop and change the fittings and then put everything back. I don't want to get in at all to rewiring anything because this is a temporary job. So you see I have the regular scissors here because I wanted to cut partially through the tube, not all the way. I could have just chopped the whole tube open, but I sort of wanted to control some of the fluid coming out initially before I really let it go. And as you can see, I have some problems with it, but I guarantee the real tubing cutters will slash right through that. No problem. But I didn't want to just unleash the deluge right away. So next time I might. So yeah, some people put fancy drainage systems into their PCs, and for hard tubing it's sort of necessary. For soft tubing it's really not. You have to, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's very cool that people do that, and you know, but how often are you going to really do that anyway? That's the thing you have to think at the cost to benefit ratio. If you're going to drain your loop once a year, you know, when you do an upgrade or something, it's probably not worth it. You know, so it just depends. So here we are taking the coolant out of the loop. You can see it draining out of the reservoir in the back. So that's nice and easy. You just sort of have to keep a towel around because water will get around. Of course, you have to have everything unplugged. I hope that goes without saying. You shouldn't have anything plugged in while you're draining water, while you're working with water around your electronic components. So there we have it. The loop is drained. I have the LED lights just sort of hanging around because I still have yet to reaffix them. But I don't want to undo the wiring that leads to the back where they're plugged in. So yeah, I have the coolant out of the loop. Very, very nice. Yeah, keep an old towel. Even, you know, like even in the back of the case here, some water just drip down, and you look at that bowl, there's not that much in it. You realize that a good sized water cooling loop with 2 rads like I have actually doesn't have as much water as you would think in it, because the big volume radiators look big, but it's not like all those fins are filled with water, so it's sort of deceptive. You see this tube here is a low point, and there's probably still a little water in there, and there's not a whole heck of a lot I can do with it. Anyway, that's going to wrap up this video. Look forward to the next part, and please subscribe, like, and favorite to PC Hype. Thanks so much. Bye.